The Masked Man is back, and Punk versus Balor is official. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. So this episode of Raw wasn't actually too bad. It was finally starting to feel like they're putting some things together going forward. It's not really up in the air as much anymore. The big stories were basically Becky and AJ. So Becky was in the ring, AJ Lee came out. Becky was panicking over the fact that AJ was in the arena. Obviously they have history, and we knew that they were going to start building towards possibly WrestleMania with this one. So we're getting it a bit early. We're getting it at the Elimination Chamber. It was made official for the IC title, women's IC title. Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. We also had that section later in the show where Maxine was fighting Natty, and then AJ got involved because the whole match was thrown out. AJ gets involved to try and help Maxine, and then Becky comes and attacks AJ. So I could see this going maybe some sort of shenanigans at Elimination Chamber. Maybe Natty gets involved, costs AJ the title. And then maybe a fatal four-way between the four girls at WrestleMania. I feel like I'm just constantly spouting about multi-people matches, but there's such a stacked roster and there's so many people vying for titles that it feels like it could go that way. I'd be happy with that though. I think the women perform well when there's a multi-match on the line sometimes. When it's the Royal Rumble, I think they kind of struggle badly. But we saw big multi-matches at, I think it was WrestleMania 33. There was a triple threat that was very good. Even the main event of Mania 35, I think, apart from Ronda Rousey, who I just wasn't a fan of, was good. Like, they can perform. We all know this. So give them a platform. And as well, like, I don't know, it would probably help the likes of Maxine being in there with three people who are so experienced and really good in the ring that they could all carry that match together. Like, I think it would be a good show. But excited for Elimination Chamber for that match. I think it should be good. The other big news story was that Braun Breaker was out with an injury now. He has a hernia. Seems to have happened when he flipped the table last week on Raw. But nobody really knows when it happened. But they're playing it into the storyline now anyway. So he's out indefinitely. I just hope to God he's back for WrestleMania, because I feel like this could be his big break here. No pun intended. But I hope he's back, because I really like Braun Breaker. And Division is kind of getting stale now. I feel like I'm not huge on them. Like, I was never huge on Division as a whole. I like Paul Heyman and I love Braun Breaker, but the rest I could take or leave. Like, it's not a big deal to me. But I just feel like they don't strike fear into the division on Raw, like into the men's division on Raw. It's not like they come out and everyone's like afraid or they invoke anything. Whereas like when you had the likes of Evolution, they were just dominant, and they had the big belt. They kind of had Raw on a chokehold, and we obviously had it with the Shield. We're such a good faction, so I just feel like Division are missing something. Like, especially when you've had a big faction running the show for 2 or 3 years with the Bloodline, and then you have Division. It's not really the same. Obviously, I think the Bloodline was lightning in a bottle. You're never going to get that again. But yeah, Division aren't really doing it for me, so I hope Braun Breaker comes back so you can finish that storyline up, hopefully. It feels like it's coming to a close anyway with the Masked Man, but we'll get to him in a minute. And the other big story, I'm delighted. Finn Balor versus CM Punk at Elimination Chamber for the World Heavyweight Championship. Delighted. This was due. We knew this was coming. I was hoping that it was going to be a triple threat at Mania, but I'm happy enough with Finn getting the title shot again, because that match on Raw could have been the best match of the year so far for me. I loved it. I know obviously it didn't go the way I wanted it to go, but excellent match. But we all know that these two guys are phenomenal, so it's not a shock when they put on a good match like that. But it'll be interesting, because we had Finn, like I said, was going to say he was overlooked, and now Dominic's back and he's saying, oh, just wait for the tag team titles. So I think it's definitely planting that seed that Dominic thinks he's above Finn. He's the only one that can hold major singles titles. And obviously, Finn feels overlooked as it is. Is it going to be a case now when they're wrestling at the Elimination Chamber? Does Dominic get involved and something goes wrong? or does he blame Dominic after he loses? Because I don't see... I would love to see Finn take the belt and go to WrestleMania, but it seems like that they're really driving home the fact that the main event is going to be Punk and Roman, which is fine. Like, great main event. Punk deserves it. I'm happy. I'm a CM Punk guy, but I'm also a Finn Balor guy, so I'm okay with either. Like, you know, so I think Dominic gets involved or he's blamed, and it sets up that feud that we kind of know is coming eventually, with the Judgment Days kind of crumbling before our eyes every week. So it would also make sense then for Liv to go after Stephanie, or if Raquel beat Stephanie before that. So it's kind of all pointing that direction. I'd be happy with Finn Balor at Mania at all. So to have him against Dom, which would be great either way. But I'd love to see the triple threat, but I don't know if it's going to happen now if we're getting the match at the Chamber. And then obviously the main event, LA Knight beats Penta and Austin Theory to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. I'm happy. I'm happy that LA Knight's back. Feel like he's well needed back on the roster. I'm not huge on LA Knight, but I think he's cool. Like, I like what he does. The crowd are eating it up every week. Like, Jey Uso was just throwing his hands in the air, and he's over as like this big... Like, obviously he has the kids, so it's like this big attraction when he comes out and does the whole yeet thing. But LA Knight is over with the crowd, and he has been for a long time. It just feels like they just won't pull the trigger. I'd love to see him win the Elimination Chamber, imagine that. But I don't think that's the way it's going to go. But during the match, obviously, we had another masked man attack. Well, the same masked man, I'd assume. But my original thought at the Royal Rumble was that Logan Paul was the masked man. And he was going to turn on the Vision, but obviously he was ringside a couple of minutes previous, so it's obviously not him. A lot of talk online saying it's Grayson Waller. Obviously makes sense, similar build. Don't think Rollins is fit enough yet, so that would make sense. So I think instead of getting hung up on who actually is the masked man, I think we should be looking at who are they going to reveal to be the masked man. And I think it's going to be revealed to be Seth Rollins in the end. We know the guy can make some crazy recoveries, or like we saw in Unreal, just play it like kayfabe injury, like, you know. So I think he's ready to come back. I'd say he probably knows the timeline is around WrestleMania. I think that would make sense. It makes sense for him to come back and attack the Vision as well. I feel like Paul Heyman is also playing into this a lot. If you watch it back, when he's coming down to the ring with Austin Theory, he's kind of scowling at Theory, like it feels like he doesn't want to be there. But I don't know, like I feel like Heyman's usually more involved, like when he was with Brock and when he was at Roman, but he kind of just stands there kind of staring at them. I feel like it'll be revealed that he was always siding with Seth. He doesn't care about these guys. And that might be the way it goes. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think the Masked Man will eventually be revealed to be Seth Rollins, but who knows? I'm open to a swerve always. But yeah, like I'm glad LA Knight's in the match. But they were the big talking points from Raw, really. So going forward now, we'll have to see who else qualifies for the Elimination Chamber. But the Elimination Chamber is shaping up to be a good event. So I'm really excited for it. Let me know down below what you think. Who's the Masked Man? Do you think it's going to be Seth? Who do you think's playing the Masked Man at the minute? And who do you think is going to win at the Elimination Chamber? Is it going to be Punk or Balor? Or is there going to be any sort of shenanigans? So let me know your thoughts down below. And like the video and subscribe because it helps the channel. So I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.